Hello, friends. This is Zack Zettergren for Zettergren Financial Group, and this month is November, Long Term Care Awareness Month. And as I sit here by this raging inferno, I just wanted to tell you some personal stories about long term care in my family. But before we do that, some quick statistics. Did you know that 70% of people age 65 or older are going to need some type of long term care in their lives? Yes, that's true. 70% of those 65 or older. Currently, over 800,000 people in the United States are living in assisted living facilities. And one that's really disturbing to me is that nearly or over 50% of seniors that have been diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's have experienced some type of neglect or abuse. So I hope you'll follow along with me here for the next minute or two as we discuss long term care in the United States and some things that you can do for yourself and for your family. But first, a couple of pieces of advice, or some words rather, from my compliance office. Hey, future Zach here. I just wanted to say that while you're taking a look at these, where I got these facts and figures, that really that film, nobody got hurt, the fire was not too big, and it was very comfortable, despite what it looked like. Okay, folks, what I'd like to do now in honor of Long Term Care Awareness Month is to just talk just a little bit about each of my grandparents. As you can see here, my family is very typical. It pretty much matches the statistics from what we showed, 70% of those over 65 needing long-term care. And that's pretty much exactly what we have here. So we'll start with my father's father, Al Zettergren Sr. I called him Papaw, and he was an awesome man. We had a lot of good times. He loved boating. He was in this insurance and financial services business and kind of started that for our family. But he passed away in 1992 and never needed any long-term care. It was a sudden death. Next, we have my grandmother, Cora, and she, for many years after the death of my grandfather, she had relatives living with her, and she pretty much exhausted all of her money because she didn't have any long-term care insurance or any other means to pay for it except to go through her savings. And that's exactly what happened. She was cared for really well for over 10 years, but she exhausted all of her money. Next, we have my grandmother, Robbie Phelps. That's my mom's mom, and she was a school teacher, a funny lady, a beautiful lady, and we just had a lot of fun together. She, at the end of her life, lived for 4 years in Trousdale Senior Living, an assisted living facility. Unfortunately, she had long-term care insurance. It paid for all of it, and she was able to pass on her assets as well as receive some really good care during that 4 years. And last but not least is my grandfather, Robert Badger. I called him Daddy Doc. That's because he was a dentist, and my mom would call him, Dad, and my father would call him Doc. So I kind of put that together and called him Daddy Doc. He lived a really long life to age 94 and really didn't need much care. He lived with his wife, and she passed away about a year before he did. And for about 6 months, my mom and my uncles would go over to his house and take care of him. And finally, that became too much. And fortunately, he had long-term care insurance also. And he received some great care at Trousdale Senior Living for about a year before he passed away. So that's a very typical story. 75% need some
type of long-term care.